You look gorgeous, baby.
I'm sorry.
If you're ready, anytime you're ready, 3, 2, 1.
Naps in Jiu Jitsu. Hello, everybody. Welcome to
everybody.
podcast number 2.
Hey, hey. We made it.
Yeah. Big shout out to everyone who supported us online, been submitting questions. I am thrilled and overwhelmed with the response that we've gotten. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of them at Jiu Jitsu Dummies, IES, right? Big shout out to Choke Responsibly. Hey, you got one too. Woohoo! Choke Responsibly. They've given us about $1,000 worth of product to give away. So we're going to be giving away T-shirts, mugs to people who submit questions. If we read your question on the podcast, you're going to get one of each. You can also go anytime to chokeresponsibly.com and get 10% off with coupon code DummiesPod2. Okay. Last week it was DummiesPod1. This week it's DummiesPod2. DummiesPod and the number 1. Number 2. DummiesPod2. They always give you free shipping in the U.S., so keep that in mind. Hawaii, Alaska too. If you are ordering from outside of the country, you win something for free on the podcast. They are going to ask that you just pay the shipping. So still a big win. Okay. Also want to thank Fight Back CBD, who has given us 2 bottles for 2 bottles on podcast 1 and 2 today. They're going to give away 2 bottles to 2 listeners. So we're going to give them to the people whose questions we read. So 2 of those people today are going to get a bottle of CBD as well. And at any time, you can go to Fight Back CBD, place an order, and get 15% off with JJD. Okay, so JJD will give you 15% off. We're going to dive right in today with questions like we did last time, and jump in when you're ready. So we had Chuck from, I think is that Chuck Red Door 808, I believe 808. He's from Hawaii. What are the biggest hurdles that white belts face when starting BJJ? Best advice to overcome them. White belt?
So, I'll say there's so many, but I would say the number one thing is that no one expects you to know anything whatsoever. And I think one of the hugest thing white belts suffer from is I'm getting dominated. Now I'm a little embarrassed. I'm not, I'm looking, and it's just not the truth. The truth is you're learning to survive. So allow the process to happen. No one's judging you. In fact, everyone knows, everybody's been there. When you're getting choked out, when you're getting triangled and all that, that's what's supposed to happen. Do not fight it. Do not put yourself in a situation where you may even hurt yourself. That's the process.
Janet, anyone?
Ask me the question again.
What are the biggest hurdles that white belts face when starting BJJ, and the best advice to overcome them?
I would say that most of the time there's 2 styles of white belts. You either have the one that because they don't know, they're just... If somebody
gentle?
Yes. If somebody happens to say, hey, a little bit more, go for it. Try it. On the other hand, you have the white belt aggressor. I'm going to get it. I have to get this. Calm down.
The guy that trains UFC.
Oh,
right?
friends. Please
white belt
calm
power.
down. Calm down. We're not there. You're training partners no matter what belt. Same belt, highest belt. It doesn't matter. We're not there to hurt. Our intent is never to hurt. So although you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to do something, if somebody is saying, hey, calm down, let me show you something, do it. We're just there to help.
I agree. This is Milton, by the way. I think that one of the biggest hurdles that I faced was I got hurt.
Yeah.
I overtrained. I got hurt a couple different times. My coach tried to put me in my place one time, and I was showing off. I had a friend that came to watch, and I probably got too aggressive with some of the other white belts, and I was a higher white belt, and he tried to throw me. I kind of bared down. My torso went that way, my legs didn't follow, and I was out for a month. So just kind of, don't be a dick, and take it easy. Listen to your body. You will spend time off of the mat. It's going to happen. Going back to more like about learning jiu-jitsu, you're going to have hurdles where you feel like you're not getting it. My coach had the book Jiu Jitsu University by Saulo Ribeiro, right? I bought that book later on in my training, and I wish I had it from the beginning because it breaks it down by belt, what you should know. And Ribeiro's kind of methodology is his white belts don't get taught submissions, or at least in the book he says they don't really learn submissions, they learn how to survive. So I've learned some of my best techniques, holding arms in side control, if somebody's on top of me, holding their arm. Little things like that I learned from that book that I was never taught on the mat. No disrespect to any of my coaches, but that was one thing that I did. And I've mentioned before that I was all over YouTube. I was looking at YouTube, and again, the hurdle of wanting knowledge, wanting to learn more, or having to sit out and feeling like I'm forgetting everything.
Yes.
I was always feeding my mind either through the book and or through video.
Probably trying to absorb too much information at once, because we all been there. Like the jiu-jitsu is so complex. There's so many new names, so many names that and terminologies that you're not familiar with, and professors just bombard you with all those names, and it's like what that means, and then you go home and you try to memorize everything. And I think my advice, is just take it easy. Try to learn a little bit every day.
Might sound corny, but like enjoy the process.
Yes,
you really
exactly.
You can.
Exactly.
You're not going to be a black belt overnight. It's going to take you about 10 years.
Yeah.
Enjoy the process because,
exactly.
Look, I've met all of you in the gym. I consider everyone here friends. Enjoy the process. You're coming up together. You're learning.
Don't be
things
so
together.
hard on yourself. Don't be so hard.
There's so much more to learn besides
Exactly.
jiu-jitsu on the mats. Like you said, there's so much friends between
Yes.
your family.
Yes.
Well put.
I would say that also an important factor is to make sure that you are, and I say this all the time to all the people who ask me questions about that, is that above everything else, you have to be comfortable and you have to be happy doing what you're doing. So if you're in a situation, if you are joining a gym and you know nothing about the art, the very least thing is how you feel about where you are in that situation, in that room, in that gym. If you feel that you're in a place where you may not be growing so well, if you don't feel comfortable, if you're not having a good time, then it doesn't make sense for you to keep pushing yourself to do that. I think it's important for you to feel happy and feel comfortable where you are. So if you have to go to a different gym or visit other places, then that will give you a different idea as to, this gym has one vibe, this other gym has a different vibe. Which one do you like? And there's no right or wrong answer about that, and everyone's going to be different. You're going to have you're going to want to like a different vibe than I will probably, or maybe we'll have the same, but it doesn't matter. And as long as you feel comfortable and you're in a place that you feel you can grow, that's, I think, a very important aspect.
What do you think about this statement? If you're driving to the gym and you're sitting there going, "Oh crap, I'm going to get my ass kicked tonight," do you think you're driving to the right gym?
I think it's a good question, but I think it's not an imperative element to understanding whether that's a good gym or not.
Okay.
For example, I've been practicing for over 10 years. I'm a black belt. And every once in a while, I'm on my way to the gym and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get my ass kicked. Okay? I'll flat out, I'll admit it.
Janet, you got to stop kicking his ass when he comes.
I'm telling you.
Please,
I'm telling
seriously.
you. Every once in a while, I feel that. And it's because, you had a good day, you had a bad day. It doesn't matter. That's an emotional situation. And you have to listen to your emotions, but it's a mood thing.
Okay.
And so I think that when I say that you have to feel comfortable about where you are, what gym you are, I mean, are the people who are there with you kind of following the same mantra that you're following? In other words, if your aim is to become an MMA fighter, then you probably want to go to a gym that has
Other
members
members.
who are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
If you are a professional, a marketing person, a computer programmer, an engineer, whatever type of thing is, and you know you're not going to be a professional MMA fighter or a professional jiu-jitsu
Just
guy.
do as a hobby.
You're doing it as a hobby to stay in shape and whatever, which is my attitude. I mean,
Yeah.
Same.
I've known my whole life that I'll never be a professional MMA or jiu-jitsu guy. It's never going to be that. I do it because I love the sport. I love the spirit. I love the people that this sport attracts. And I love how I feel about it, even though I want to puke sometimes I'm done with it.
90% of the people that are training are not training to be pros.
Exactly.
Actually, again, I read that in an article. I'm always
Exactly.
looking at stuff.
A large
And-
percentage.
There, and it actually was talking a little bit more about people that do even the tournaments. That now there's like these professionals that do these tournaments, and
Yeah.
90% of the people are us.
Right.
The people that are listening to us, most of these people, I think that they're hearing this are saying, yeah, that's me. I'm not going there to be an MMA fighter, whether they're 12, 16, 20, or, in their 40s like some of us. Most of the people are just doing it for the exercise
Yeah.
because they
like
love
it,
jiu-jitsu.
they
I
love it.
started doing it because I love the UFC, and I'm like, oh my God, I'd love to
So much
do
fun
the
to do
ground game. And I did, I did a little bit of Muay Thai, very little bit of Muay Thai at my first gym, but, I do it because I stuck with jiu-jitsu because you fall in love with it.
So I
Fun.
think ultimately is you have to feel comfortable about where you are. If you know what your goals are, if it's to stay in shape and to enjoy the sport, then you be in a gym that does that and that encompasses that kind of situation. If you are going to want to do more than that, if you want to really push yourself to become a professional or whatever, then you may want to visit a gym that has that drive. So it really depends on what your objectives are and how you feel about it.
So this next question is going to lead to my favorite subject that I'm dying to talk about. Not my favorite subject, but my biggest pet peeve. But we got a question. So it's DSWEHBY sent us a question on Instagram. His name is actually Darren. Sorry, Darren. I don't know if that your handle spells something. Sorry. So his question is there an expectation, or excuse me, is there an expected etiquette for jiu-jitsu students when visiting other jiu-jitsu gyms away from home? We've talked about this in the rehearsal before we did our first podcast. Obviously, the same respect is practiced at a home gym, but are there some unwritten guidelines to ensure a smooth impression of you, your master, and gym? Or anything else that applies when training at other jiu-jitsu gyms away from home? So, anybody want to take that one?
I'll mention this because I've visited several gyms both in the U.S. and abroad, and every gym is different. Even within the United States, there's different cultures, there's different etiquettes. But I think the most important thing is when you're visiting, if it's just visiting, if you're planning to go there, that's a different story. But if you're visiting, what I would do, number one, is call the gym or contact the gym first and say, hey, I'm coming from wherever you are. I'm visiting one time or a couple times. I'm going to be in town. Do you guys have open mat? How much is it? Because they may charge you.
Mm-hmm.
And ask, if it's going to be gi or no gi. And explain to them where you are. If I'm a white belt, I'm a black belt, I'm a blue, purple, whatever. In other words, communicate with them first.
Yeah.
Talk to them, find out what their situation is. And once you start talking to them, then when the open gyms will be. That way you can visit and ask. Like I said, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Ask, is there something you need me to do? Do you have a specific gi color that you want me to wear? Do you have? There's some gyms that do that.
Really?
What time is it? And whenever it is that time, let's say that the open mat or the class starts at 7. You're there 15 minutes before. You want to make sure that you're on time.
One thing that I actually do on top of that, I agree with everything you said, is anything that I've done in this world, including this podcast, I ran by our coach, Professor Felipe. Not necessarily for his permission, out of respect, to let him know that I was planning on doing something, whether it was, maybe recording some videos and some instructional stuff, or the podcast itself. So I think that It's just a sign of respect to say, hey, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to this gym. I just want to, rather than him see you put a picture on Facebook and him go, why, what's going on? Yeah, I think again, it's just a sign of respect.
And even more, he may be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Tell him I said hi.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know. The jiu-jitsu communities is they all know each other very well. So.
Yeah, and look, it's really easy to do exactly what you just laid out because you can go online. It's Junior. He messaged me that he's going to be traveling, I think, down to Mexico, and he found a gym, and he was mentioning, I found this person, and I knew this person knew this person, and now he's going to be, I think, training while he's away.
Cool.
So yeah, really cool. I mean, it's the world is like this now because of the internet. Let's see. Anything else that applies? Well, okay. So anything else that applies when training at other jiu-jitsu gyms now? Again, my biggest pet peeve. This is my biggest pet peeve. When somebody comes into the gym, they walk into the bathroom barefoot, and they change, and they come out and they walk on the mat. That is the most disgusting thing. It just drives me nuts. If the coach doesn't catch them and nobody says anything, I usually let it go and I don't say anything. Sometimes I just feel like it's not my place. But I've been to other gyms where they have slippers waiting by the bathroom and then with Lysol bottles, and I've been to gyms that it's a free for all. That is my biggest pet peeve. I just think that people have to be, listen, we're rolling around, skin gets chafed, and little kids, adults. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts when people do that. Now that's just me, but I make sure that when I go to another gym or even in our gym, I grab my flip flops. I walk them to the back. I put them down in front of the bathroom, and I walk into the bathroom, and then I walk them back out. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody else has a peeve. Anyone?
Well, I think that the people that if you're coming late, please make sure you bow to the professor before you start your training. Bow to the mat, and you go in and you bow to the professor. Some schools you actually have to ask permission.
Yeah.
May I train because you're late. So same thing when you're leaving, like not just leave. Bow and say your byes, and and I'll see you next time. It's just me. I think the whole purpose of the martial arts is the respect. And it goes both ways. You give respect when you give respect.
I think I learned that from Junior. Junior walks in, he shakes everyone's hand.
Yes.
He finds Sophia, he finds Philippe, and then he goes right down the list and shakes everybody's hand. He leaves, doesn't leave anybody out.
According to the rank.
Yeah. And I've kind of followed that. I definitely, again, we talked about this at one of the rehearsals that I used to shake hands with the men and not even shake hands with the women. I just always felt, just coming up, that it was kind of strange. I felt like women don't usually shake hands, and then I had to get comfortable with it. And now I'm just when I saw Junior doing it, I just do it all the time now. I just make a point. I find Sophia, I find Philippe, I make sure I shake their hands. I find Coach Adon and shake his hand as well. Even before class, even when we're off the mat, just watching the kids finish up. I do know that there are some people that don't get. I'm not looking at you that you do.
No, I definitely don't do that.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Anyone else? Anybody pet peeves?
I think when it comes to pet peeves, the bathroom thing definitely is something that bothers me too. But I think that all that stuff that you're talking about, calling ahead, the bathroom, salutations and respect to the mat and to the professor. That kind of stuff, even if the gym that you visit doesn't really care about that, if you put that part of your repertoire, especially when you're visiting, you build a trust with other gyms. And they go, oh, yeah, Mauricio, I remember you from last year. You're from Florida, right? Yeah, come on in, man. As opposed to you go and you're kind of off-putting when you go, oh, you know what, we're not taking
new people in
or visitors, we're changing it. And it's really because of you. Because you walked into that bathroom and then, left a trail on the mat. So it's good to, observe the highest level of etiquette when you're visiting another school, even if that school doesn't really care.
You're not just representing yourself. You are representing the gym that you come
from.
And if your coach saw you acting a fool, you're going to get choked in.
He's not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So let me say this. When you go as far as getting up to the point of, to the school, to the rolling, I think I totally agree with what you all were saying. Now, once you bow in, class gets started, what is your etiquette?
Do you come in
balls to wall? or you just kind of chilling, seeing? How do you go at your drilling? Or
If somebody's coming in, I'm usually going to let them. They have the control. They're gonna steer, and they're gonna go hard. Then I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna bring my level up to them. I'm definitely gonna try to be as respectful as possible, and really give them that room. Sometimes we've had people come in and they go balls to the wall and try to rip everybody's head off, and then I'll elevate. If they bring it down, I bring it down. I just try to match them, and I think that's what you've actually said in the past.
No,
Yeah.
Jason was telling me a story the other day about one of his friends that he went to school in Brazil, and they put him with the hammer. Because every school, in our school, the hammer is Milton. Just by the way, but if you
No,
come
it's
to
not.
if you come to a new if you come to a new school, and you're acting up, they're gonna put you with the hammer first,
Right.
just to calm you down, and then you can go through
Calm you down.
just to calm you down.
Yeah.
And I think it goes kind of back to the culture and the environment that each school has. So when you are walking in to a new school and you're just going to train there by just one time or a couple of times, your experience will help you determine if the gym is going to be kind of like intense MMA style, balls to the wall kind of thing, or if it's a more relaxed, more learning activity or environment. But you won't know until you actually are on the mat with someone and you start to roll.
Mhm.
And like Milton said, I think you have to elevate yourself to the level that you're rolling with. So if the first person you roll with, they're going full out, then you want to respect that, and you want to make sure that you give them that, because it's also a role for them. If you just sort of like fish out and you're like, because you want to be respectful,
The wet
then you're not
Noodles,
giving them
the wet
the
noodle
wet-
bowl
the noodle-
spaghetti.
You're
not Mauricio.
yeah,
Not Mauricio.
exactly.
Everyone.
You are not giving them the due respect, because they will expect you to attack and they will expect you to rise to the level. So you try to match them, as much as you can. On the other hand, if they're the ones that kind of just go limp and they think that they need to go easy on you, then I think you will want to kind of push that drive a little bit to tell them, like, it's okay, I can handle this. Let's go a little bit harder, or let's do a little bit more, or whatever. So again, it's you and the person driving. You and the person you're rolling with. You are in that microcosm right there, where you're saying, okay, let's focus on this, and I'll be respectful, and I'll drive as much as you can with you. And then when you're rolling with the next person, it's a whole other world. I roll with you as much as I can. And no.
But Janet, I'm always, and I don't know if this is misogynistic of me to ask this question, but you hear us talking about some of these things. No, it's not going to be a bad question. Don't worry.
Right.
In our gym because we have a heavy female presence, right? We have Coach Felipe and his wife Sophia. I think that as far as gyms that I've been to, we have a larger presence of young girls, young women, and women moms that have had their kids in class and have begun to train. And I think it's awesome. You guys always have the opportunity to really. I know for me, I usually don't ask a girl to roll, especially a female, a white belt. I usually kind of I think I scare them.
Yeah.
But my point is, do you feel like in the world when you guys are just rolling with women, just the girls rolling with girls, do you have those same problems? Like, is there the bully? Is there the female bully? Is there the one, don't have to name names, but I mean, does that, I think for the guys, it's like there's so much testosterone and, there's the white belt comes in and wants to kill. And it takes a long time to get humbled. I think we take a long time to get humbled. That's still something that I struggle with. Like, I can't lose to this guy, and I'm not going to, even though we're just rolling, that's still in the back of my mind sometimes. Is it the same thing for you and some of the other women?
I would say, from the experiences that I've had, the different schools that I've gone to, I haven't really experienced it.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, all of the girls that I've trained with have just been respectful. You go hard, I go hard. If you're having a rough time with it, then I'm going to calm down. Try and keep it pretty similar. Not to say that females are more chatty, because we're not. but I don't know. I know that you're really not supposed to be talking when you roll, but at the same rate, whether it's somebody that I know that I've been training with since the beginning or for the very first time ever rolling with somebody, if they get a good move, I'm going to tell them. I'm not going to wait until the end. I'm going to be like, man, that was a good one. Maybe show me that later. And I don't know if maybe that just keeps it a friendly roll. You know, I'm not trying to submit all the time. Sometimes it's just that learning.
You
You
know,
know-
sometimes my best black eyes have been from Flo, by the way. So just, you know,
She's pretty good at
she's
that.
gotten me more than once.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I tend to, I do talk when I'm rolling. Not a whole lot. Probably not a I'm not a conversation full
Yeah.
with a person. But yeah, if I'm rolling with someone and someone does a really good move on me or whatever, I'll be like, that was really good. Good job. Good job.
But
That
I
was-
think
felt
that's
good.
encouraging, whether it be the same belt, a higher belt, a lower belt. Hey,
Yeah, does it? Is
Exactly.
there a difference if it's a higher belt? Will you talk
I'll
if it's if more
no,
experience?
there is a big difference. Usually if it's a higher belt, I won't have a chance to talk because I'm getting my ass kicked. So there's less talk. But
Yeah.
but in certain occasions, I'll be telling him or I'll be telling her or whatever. I'll still be doing the same thing. My attitude's still the same, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But regardless of who I'm rolling with, no matter the experience or whatever, I'm always trying to keep like a position where I can converse with the person as I'm rolling with them. If it's to the point where they're putting so much pressure on me that I can't talk,
Yeah.
then I know that I'm making a mistake,
Right.
and so I have to try to massage my way out of that. But I've seen situations where I'm rolling with someone, and it's been more often with lower belts, where I'm talking to or I'm rolling with them. They do a good move. I mention it. I nod it, and I can literally feel like their anger. Like I almost feel like they think that I am being condescending or rude by talking to them, where I'm not. I'm definitely not. That's the last thing I want to feel. But I think that sometimes they feel that. And when I feel that, then I kind of stop doing that. But for the most part, people who I roll with and they know me, they know that I'll mention things. They'll know that, and I'm okay with that. And I think they like that because they know that it's an accomplishment thing and it's a nod.
that's what I would agree with that one. I've never looked at or felt like, don't talk to me,
Yeah.
or say something.
Because
the
they're focused.
contrary-
They're so focused on trying
Oh.
to dominate or do what they want to do that they feel any distraction that they feel me talking is a distraction,
Oh.
which
See, and I would take that as if you gave me any sort of praise of any sort. Hey, that was a good one. I put that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Or even rolling with higher belts, if I feel them get a little bit more aggressive, like maybe I'm getting something, hang on to that one too.
Right.
Because at least I'm growing and I'm realizing that, oh, that was a good one. I better come back and work on whatever that was. I will take any praise that I can get when, whether it be before the roll, after a roll, during the roll. Any kind of encouragement is always good.
I love to talk when I'm rolling. Absolutely, I love to joke. I love to make jokes. If you get me in a bad position, I'm I want to have fun with it. It's just my personality
Yeah.
to joke around and to just talk. And there are just some people that I know that I'm not going to do that with. It's actually funny because Junior, as good of friends as I am with Junior, he's one that there's no talking. There's no talking.
Because you're concentrating.
There's no talking. Sometimes
Right.
if we roll the first one, he barely says, he says hello when he comes in.
right.
But when it's time to roll, he rolls. The hugs and all the joking come
He's
after.
very focused.
He's very
Yeah.
focused, and I very rarely, we don't talk during the roll.
Right.
After, wow, that was good, and how'd you do that? And then as soon as the buzzer goes off,
Yep.
he's a different person. But when
Yeah.
he's rolling, Coach Felipe, excuse me, he loves to joke, and I love that. And sometimes if I make a noise, he stops doing something, and I have to almost be like, no, you're good,
Just kidding.
go ahead, keep
Yeah.
on going. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah.
So but I love joking around with him, and I think I do that with Mauricio too. But again, it's the partner. It's
You gotta
Sometimes you get
just
that-
like the level. It's like,
Yeah.
well, maybe what's my joking level?
Right.
as
Sometimes
well as
the
my sparring
feedback,
level.
you'll feel that person is not the joking kind of person or the talkative kind of person, and then you're like, okay, and you just keep rolling. But everyone's different, so that's why you have to kind of respect
just knowing your audience, because I know we've rolled, Andres, and you take a very, and Junior too with me, right? Because I'm lower rank. You teach a lot while we're rolling, and I really appreciate it. And you do push me while you're talking to me. You do push, but so when I get a compliment, out of, hey, you did that good. That means a lot to me, because that compliment means probably just through the small coaching during that moment. I could probably figure that out by myself, but in how many months, and how many, years would it take me just in a conversation with Andres or Junior when he teaches me, and you teach me well, and I love it. So, there are certain audiences, to your point, that appreciate it, and I really do like it when I get instructed.
There's some people that don't like it,
right?
Yeah.
Even lower belts, where it's kind of like, especially if they're new and they don't know you as well, or they don't roll with you often, and you offer instruction. I've come to ask. I start to ask,
Mm-hmm.
do you mind if I tell you something? I always ask, do you mind? Because some people, I could just see it in their face when they answer that first time, whether they are actually okay with receiving the information.
Yeah.
Because I used to just tell people, hey, you should do this and do that, and I know it could come off the wrong way, or make them feel bad or condescending. So I'll say, do you mind if I just show you something? And if they say yes and they're okay with it, in that yes, I know if they're like, yeah, go ahead, or
Right.
or
You
they're
can
like,
tell.
yeah, no, absolutely. What did I do wrong? Please help me. Because
Yeah.
that's the way I was. Like, I want the info. Give me. If they're okay receiving the information, I'm going to give it to them. And those guys, I wind up having more fun. And we said on the last podcast, it's when you're training people, you're learning just as much.
Yeah.
I love that part of this because it makes me remember. And if I have to show you a move, show you where to go. Oh, wait a minute, I have my foot in the wrong place. Wait a minute, that should be here.
Mhm.
And it reinforces it for me.
How funny games until you hear professors saying, hey guys, stop socializing,
Saving it for Facebook.
Exactly. It's how funny games,
But it's usually if you're talking and not rolling.
Right.
Exactly.
If you're rolling and you're talking, maybe
That's a
you
different
gotta.
story.
Or
watch
if you're
it.
talking, but he can tell it's jujitsu related.
Yeah.
Usually it's all right.
Yeah.
No,
And sometimes,
absolutely,
I think sometimes what happens is that people, like I said, some people get so hyper focused on rolling that they don't necessarily appreciate the comments or the feedback as you're rolling.
Mhm.
But it is afterwards that they're like, I think you were saying something. Can you repeat that? Can you tell me, because I just can't listen while I'm doing it. I can only do one thing at a time, which that's my life. So that's you work on a specific thing. You can only concentrate on that. Anything else is a distraction, which may or may not help you. And then at the end, you're like, okay, Milton, you were saying something. Do you mind explaining it again? Because
I think that's happened to me. That's happened to me where it's like, oh, wait, he will take the info. Okay, let's go back and then I'll.
You know what's
maybe
bad? People like myself who will, like, if you don't tell me right there and you wait 5 minutes and they go, hey, you remember when you didn't know? I don't remember. I don't always remember.
It's gone.
Sometimes I'm like such in the moment that
Yeah.
I'm not remembering what I'm doing. I'm not there in my game yet,
Yeah.
my belt yet,
Well-
maybe my years in.
It's also a question of being, like I said, hyper focused. If you're just, if you put your mind entirely into that specific moment and you're not thinking about anything else, then you're going to forget what happened at that second moment, a few seconds later.
Yeah.
And experience will help you kind of expand upon that.
Getting better.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, it depends on the person and it depends on the situation. But always be, one thing I would say to white belts, anyone coming in or everything, is that you need to be willing to listen and to learn from every single situation. Every single experience you have at the gym is a learning experience. From, shaking hands, tapping, to the moment where you have to tap out, to learning how to grip. Everything is an experience, and no matter what level belt you are, every time you're doing that, it's an experience and a learning moment for you. So you have to take that into advantage.
Can we go back just real fast to this question about etiquette? About the etiquette going into a different school. I just wanted to say one last thing as far as when you go into that school, can you just be on your best behavior?
Yeah.
Don't walk in there extra cocky. You're
Right.
there to prove something. Just think, kind of like last episode we were saying, you are representing your school. You know?
You're also a guest.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
You
in
don't walk
that's somebody's
into a-
home. That's their home.
Yes, and you don't walk into a stranger or even an acquaintance's house and go straight to the pantry or straight. You
Well,
don't
I do.
help
That's
yourself.
something totally different, Janet. I do that all the
Well,
time.
but
Nice.
don't make yourself
This is a different thing.
so much at home
Yeah.
that you're not
Yeah,
welcome
no,
back.
absolutely. Again, you're
You know-
representing your gym. It's your gym, your coach, your teammates.
Yeah,
your
because
training
you want to
partners.
be able to say, "Hey, thanks for letting me come to your school. If you're ever in my area, come check us out."
Right.
And wouldn't you like to have that relationship? You
Yeah.
know, just keep building with your friendships
Yeah.
in the jujitsu world
I'm
and
still
outside.
friends with some of the people, not only online, but just friends with some of the guys that I used to, train with, and that we went to open mats. We still talk online. We say
Yeah.
hello.
You're
Yeah.
building relationships
Yeah.
no matter what. So it's
Yeah, you see these guys at tournaments, or you see them, just
Oh yeah, that's
out
the
and about,
best.
or
That is the
at the
best.
Fight to Win. I saw tons of people. I was like, oh my god, I remember him. Does he remember me? It
And
was-
usually they do. And even if it's not like maybe real close remembrances, but maybe I remember your face. But how cool is that? That when
Yeah.
you can go to a competition or go to something like that and you walk in and you're like, that face, and
Yeah.
they're over there going,
yeah,
hey,
they remember
I
you too.
remember
Yeah.
you too. And just such a
it's
cool
it's a very warm
feeling.
feeling. Yep, it definitely helps.
We didn't say anything last episode, and it's a few weeks now, but big shout out to our coach, Felipe
Mm-hmm.
Amarante, for his big win at Fight to Win. In
Hey.
Oh, that's right.
That was amazing fun.
That was awesome. I mean, that was textbook lockdown, and
Yeah.
and so throwing those submissions from the bottom. Yeah, that guy was much respect. I don't know, I forget his partner, his opponent's name, but I mean, he really just dominated with that lockdown. That guy couldn't move.
Mhm.
He could not advance at all.
Yeah.
And coach was just he was lapel chokes. He was throwing up. Did you see it? Have you seen it?
It's a funny story because I almost got in trouble at work because he was.
Trying to watch
So
it.
he was fighting, right? And someone I don't know her name. It's a mother, one of the students. So make a long story short, she was posted on Facebook, and I work as a chef, and I'm a restaurant manager, and the kitchen was going down, like they're really busy, and they were calling me over the radio, and I was like hiding in the corner, like just trying to watch the fight, and everyone was like looking for me, So
It was
Did they have
great.
that like recorded anywhere?
What's the
Is it
flow
flow
grappling?
grappling?
Flow grappling, okay, I have
Is it a flow grappling?
I think it was being.
I know they were there, but I don't know if
yes,
there's the ownership.
yes, I believe so.
There's some type of ownership there of flow
I
grappling.
don't
Has
know,
that?
but I
I'm
know
not
that
sure.
they were.
I believe you can
recording.
go to the old videos and see it.
Yeah.
I can probably still find on Facebook.
Yeah, it's it was great. Again, it was and I was talking about the lapel chokes because I know he's a lapel guy, and coach just got his lapel around the back and was looking for that baseball bat choke, and it was great. I had him in that position in the gym last weekend. And I was like, I learned that, I was just kind of joking with him about.
I saw
said,
some guy doing it.
I said something along the lines of, "Yeah, my coach taught me this," and he just smiled and had him in the lockdown and was trying to get it in. So it was. But yeah, hats off, congratulations. It was a great fight. It was a great event.
Yeah,
It was
was
a
like
good night.
lots of great fights.
35 matches.
I don't know
Kids,
exactly. They
kids,
were,
women,
yeah.
men.
They were excellent matches, and the setup was awesome. The judging,
Yeah,
everything.
both
was
of
really
Wagner's kids were
Yeah.
which was that's got to be like a proud moment. Both your son and your daughter are both
good. That is
Killing
both
it.
fun. Yeah, it was great. It was a good event. I can't wait till they come back. I'll definitely go again.
Mhm.
They're doing I mean, it's like every weekend almost. I feel like there's like an event somewhere.
okay. Yeah.
So so hopefully they'll be back in Florida. So just wanted to mention that. Let's get our little product. We going to tell everybody a quick story. So we were. This is not a sponsor, but I'll tell you the story. Everybody's seen the massage guns online. I saw the ads. Tim Tam was the one that had all the UFC fighters in it. George St. Pierre, Faraz Sahabi, his coach. It looks like they're all promoting this, and they probably are. But I ordered it online. It said it was going to be more than a few weeks. I was okay with that. Started getting emails. It's going to be longer, and it's going to wind up being would have been 7 to 8 weeks. I think the last email at least that I got. So I just got very frustrated. Started bitching a little bit online. Somebody from Tim Tam actually communicated with me, So they told me that it was that product, that version hadn't even been released yet. But the emails were telling me that there was kind of like manufacturer delays. So the two stories weren't driving. I just got really pissed off. I asked for a refund. I got a refund. Started posting online, bitching and complaining. And a bunch of people posted the muscle gun or tagged me in the muscle gun. And here it is. Let's show it up for the camera. People that can't see it, it's, nice little, I guess this is, what's that technology? Like that saw technology? What is it, like a
It's
table
like
saw?
a reciprocating saw type of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So I don't know if this is going to be too loud. I hope not. But I played with it. It's awesome. Oh, give me a battery. It's you can move it around. Again, this is Muscle Gun MG. Got that nice little logo.
Rechargeable battery.
If you're looking for massage guns online, just go online and just type in massage gun.
Lock and roll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how loud it's going to be for the mic. I don't really feel like that's that loud.
That's a great idea.
But
Let's
my
get
girls
closer
is-
to the mic.
I'm
think
driving my
that's pretty
fiance and our 15-year-old crazy, so it feels awesome. You can kind of start slow. You don't want to dig it in because it does that. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. If you push it down, it jumps. It tells you to turn it off before you move the. I'm going to turn it up to 3. What does it go up to 5? It goes
11.
up to 6. Yeah, right.
What a
What,
training.
what is that from Spaceballs?
It's come from suck to blow.
What is it?
Okay,
like a
those-
ridiculous mode or something?
anyone
I know Bo.
knowing
I know
about
the guy behind the
Spaceballs?
camera, Bo, our fearless leader over here in production. He probably knows. What is it called?
Yes.
Ridiculous mode or something? I forget. But anyway, okay, we're gonna turn
It's
this
Mega
whoa,
Man.
whoa. So it feels freaking awesome. I even have tendonitis in my finger, and I just kind of hold it like that a little bit, and I could bend my finger a lot more. But I'll pass it around. I don't know how loud that is, though. Sorry.
I can hear it. It's fairly loud, but
it's fairly loud. They did send me so I bitched about Tim Tam, got tagged, asked somebody how loud it was, and somebody from Muscle Gun actually sent me a video and said, here it is. A guy was using it in the gym on his like chest and shoulder muscles. You want to play
Comes
with it?
with different attachments.
Yeah, it comes with a bunch of different attachments. I love it. I do know I live in a townhouse, and I'm probably not going to be using it in the bedroom because my neighbor's head is probably about 2 feet away on the other side of the
This
bricks.
is awesome.
It feels great. I think it's really cool technology. If you press the button on the side, it'll press. You only have to press it once and it'll stay on, but press that button, yeah.
Adjustable
Make sure it's
arm.
locked. Yeah, locked in.
I know
You
how
can start really light and really get it going. Again, I think it feels awesome.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that there are other ones out there that are just as good. Just so happens, like they didn't give me this one for free because I bitched about Tim Tam. I ordered it. They did give me a little coupon code and a discount. I don't know that they want me to share it yet, so maybe we'll talk to them about actually sharing.
How does the attachment then?
So you have the speed there, and this just comes right off.
You just
Nice.
unscrew it? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so you can unscrew it. And I've seen a bunch of them. I think most of them are similar. Hey, give me one. Let's get the pointy one because that's the most different. That's what she said.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you just go there?
Yeah, he did.
Oh no, I gotta get it good. That's a good one. Come on. So it goes on like that again. You press the button, you get different angles. You can go straight up. This one probably not for the back, but I was able to just use the larger attachment on the back. I was able to get into spots that I needed to get after a long day at work.
Where exactly?
I like it. Came with 2 batteries. Came with 4 attachments. Came in that case. So.
That's a nice case.
Again, they're not paying us to talk about it, but I think in general, it is going to be a big part of my recovery routine.
Yeah.
Again, I don't. You want to play with it a little bit? Feels great. The only thing that I have any complaint about is maybe that it's a little loud.
Yeah.
I have to use it in my living room. I can't use it in the bedroom because I feel like the neighbor's too close right on the other side of the wall, so I don't want to. I think that's too much sound. But
Just bring it to work.
yeah, what's that?
Just bring it to work.
Bring it to work. I'm gonna bring it to the gym. I told Sophia that it was on its way, and that I know she's always using the rollers and stuff. So I told her I was gonna bring it. So I think it's really cool. I would highly suggest it. If anybody wants to send us any to do a product test or review, or if you think that yours sounds better than that, we definitely love to take a look at it. But so far so good. Highly recommended. So
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. And it's light too. It's not too heavy.
Yeah, it's
So-
pretty
Oh
light.
yeah, it's super light, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get again, and with
Yeah.
with some of the bigger attachment, I felt like I was able to just get them. I get all my tension just sitting at a desk all day in my shoulder
I bet
blades.
you can also
Yeah, my
get like an
shoulder blades
extension.
killing
Like,
me
you
all
know,
the
you
time.
can
Maybe.
you can get like a little extension to
Yeah.
go a little bit further back, so
Yeah.
you can reach your lower back. And
Came
whatever.
with the charger, 2 batteries, and again those 4 attachments. So I like it. I was dying to get the first one, and I guess that little fanboy in me when I saw St. Pierre and all the UFC fighters, I'm like, that's the one I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And then again, I was really disappointed that didn't come through. So again, only critique would be I can't even say a critique of it. I'd like to see what other guns sound like, if there are any out there that are a lot quieter.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it's my favorite new toy.
Nice.
So-
Nice.
I'm thinking of getting one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
This is cool.
highly recommend it. I think they would probably let me share the. I don't know that she set it up for me to give it away, but or the person that sent me the coupon code, but they did give me, I think it was a 20% coupon. So
That's
it's $149. That's not that bad. The Tim
That's really
Tam
good.
the Tim Tam was $199, and they were giving an extra gift, but
Yeah.
I guess the gift was to get you to hold off on asking for a
Right.
refund
The
because it was
gift is
taking forever.
8 weeks of wait.
Yeah, but I would have.
Wait.
You could have kept the gift and just sent it to me. I
Right.
would have been happy.
You're right.
But again, a little disappointed in that. But ultimately, yeah, I think it's a great tool. But I keep on seeing them online. I'm like I was dying to figure out if this was something I was going to be able to use. I was able to get into my back and
Nice.
use it in conjunction with a roller. I think it's pretty awesome.
I've seen the videos online. They can be pretty expensive.
Yeah, there's
149 is a great price.
Yeah, I've seen 149 was probably the cheapest, and again I had the coupon. Tim Tam was at 199, but if you look on Amazon, it has them in the 300s. The list
Yeah.
price was actually like 349. And then again, there's a. If you look up massage gun, if you do like a search for massage gun even on Instagram, there are just dozens upon dozens of them right now. So again. I'm a big fan of people who interact online, and when they sent me the video, people
Just a
tagged
little
me,
back
and
for
people
the-
sent me the video, and we decided
for the batteries.
to give it to buy it. So again, if there's anybody else out there that wants us to test this or any other product on the podcast, we're more than
Yeah.
happy to
Bring
Send
it
it
up.
over.
send it over. I'm not buying another one though. Okay,
Send it over.
I am not buying another one, but love to feature it and see how people like it.
I tried the ones that are not. It's not the percussion type of thing, but the
Yeah.
electrodes.
Oh yeah.
Did you find that in your wife's drawer?
Like a 10 unit?
I'm just
Wow.
Ooh, that
Whoa.
sorry.
That was deep.
Out of line.
Out of line. I'm out of here. Those actually, I bought it at Sawgrass actually, and it's really good. It's the electrical nodes that you just attach to your skin.
Bruce Lee style.
Yeah, exactly. And I have great abs now. No, I'm just kidding. But they're really good in the sense that they can penetrate, and because it's electric impulses, so it tightens your muscles and it relaxes them. It tightens them, so it's a different type of. The
chiropractors use that.
Exactly.
They use it all the
Are they
time.
called 10 units?
What's that?
I forget what they're called, but yeah, it's an electrical.
I think it's called a 10 unit.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
basically
I don't
electrical.
even know the
You're
name.
being
They call it
shocked,
therapy
basically.
when
Yeah.
I go.
They're basically they're
Like, you want
shocking,
therapy today? Yes.
Yes,
and
I do.
and it's awesome. It's fantastic. But
Like,
this
what
thing
is going
is different.
on?
right, this feeling is different because it's percussion. It's hitting your muscle.
Yeah.
So it's not tensing the muscle. It's actually massaging it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a different kind of sensation and a different kind of what's it called recuperation mode. But it
I went to the chiropractor. My first gym, there was a chiropractor right next door, and he gave us all a deal. And I went in, and once I got to know them a little bit, the nurse that hooked it up, she put the pads on my shoulder, and she went to put it on. and I knew I was going to mess with her. And as soon as she's like, okay, as soon as I knew she was turning it on, I went, oh! She was like, oh!
And they never let you back in
I
again, right?
wanted to do it again, but I just remember the reaction that she had. I felt kind of bad because she really thought she did something
yeah.
wrong. So
Especially because she doesn't know you or anything like that.
no, not at all.
Jerk.
So
I
yeah,
know.
right.
For real.
You're going to pay for it
That's
Monday.
me. Do you want to read the next question, Mauricio?
Sure.
Where we were right here, right? Bruce or Bryce?
I believe it's Bryce Kinney. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name.
Bryce_Keeney.
Which is better system, and why Gracie Jiu Jitsu or 10th Planet? Which is better system, and why Gracie Jiu Jitsu or 10th Planet? Boom.
He said, boom, I asked it. Now, don't read the next one. He actually asked the question
And answer himself.
and then answered it. But let's talk about that. I know that my comment to this, as soon as I got it, was, all right, so there's a million different questions that I want to ask Bryce before I could really answer that question.
Yeah.
It's like, what are your goals in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what it is. If you want to, be an MMA fighter, you're probably going to want to go 10th Planet, in my opinion. Eddie Bravo developed his style. If you watch he's done interviews where he talks about he felt that he needed to develop jiu-jitsu in a way to protect somebody on the bottom. Okay, if you're getting beat, what could you do? And that's the whole, mission control and
the philosophy behind his techniques.
There's a method to his madness, which was, if I'm on the bottom, how am I going to protect myself with jiu-jitsu, not just pushing somebody away, but getting them really close. And that's, I'll let, he'll let him speak for himself, but, that's what I took away from it. It was like, it was specifically developed in that way so that you can protect yourself from somebody that's on top of you and then submit them from the bottom and giving them very little space. So if you're looking to be an MMA fighter, I think that, look, Gracie Jiu Jitsu, they are, right? They're the gods in our world, right? I think, there are lots of different Gracie styles. Is it, the Gracies, Henner and Hedon? Is it their type of Jiu Jitsu? Is it Carlson Gracie Jiu Jitsu? I think that, again, it comes down to what are you trying to get out of it? If you're in your 40s like me, like most of the men here, right? Did you say you just turned 40?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So all the guys at this table here are 40. So, I doubt any of us are looking to step into the ring. So our style under Master Cyborg is great for us of how it's translated into jiu-jitsu at our gym. Although obviously Master Cyborg is such a well-known name in the tournament style of jiu-jitsu. So that would be I have to throw that question back to Bryce. I don't think there's one right answer like, oh, it's 10th Planet or it's obviously Gracie Jiu Jitsu. But he does answer it, but I'd like to get your guys' feedback before we read what he said. Anyone?
So I think, I think the answer is that there really is no answer unless you try it. If you have the opportunity to visit 10th Planet or one of its subsidiaries, and give it a shot and see what how it feels and what you learn and what experiences you have, and then you go to another one of the Gracie gyms and go through the same process, you really won't know, because the answer to that question will be different for you than for the person next to you, than for me, than for anybody else, because it's a very subjective question. It's a very subjective issue, and it depends on your goals and on what you want to accomplish.
It's just so personal. Jiu-jitsu is just personal. I think the best system is the one that works for you, for your goals.
Yeah.
And that's
Did you
the best
see
system.
your son trains in the same gym? Could you ever see him coming to you saying, "Dad, I want to fight.
Not at
I
all.
want to take this further"?
Not at all.
And what would you say if he did?
I would say, go ahead.
Yeah, you'd support him.
Of course,
Okay.
100%. He's not a competitor. I asked him like 100 times, and like, do you want to go compete? And he's like, no, I'm not into that. I just like to train here, with my friends, and like I said, I believe the best system is whatever works for you. My goal is to stay healthy and fit, and train for as long as I can. If your goal is to be a professional fighter, maybe you need to find a school that focus on fighting, on professional fighting.
they're two different styles. Why does one have to be better than the other?
Exactly.
It's like a agree to disagree.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, jiu-jitsu's evolved so much that there are so many different styles and versions, and you know, it's you know, when people do that whole you do jiu-jitsu, hiya, you know, that whole making the
Oh my
karate
God,
hands.
yes.
Actually had that conversation at work the other day, and all of a sudden these women are popping up at their desk going, "Oh, my son's he's 15 and he's a black belt in Taekwondo," and you know, we're so. Jiu-jitsu people are so bougie and they're thinking of we're the best.
Yeah.
But it's not a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And I tried not to do it, but I did it, and I started making fun of it a little bit, but you know, playfully. But yeah, I mean, you know, one of the women said, you know, it's actually her boyfriend's son who's now getting into jiu-jitsu. And when I actually know the father, and when we wound up seeing each other and talked a little bit. He mentioned it to me. He's like, "Hey, he's doing jiu-jitsu now. I'm so excited that he's doing it." He's like, now he knows hands and he knows the ground. And the dad got it. I was like, "See, that's the thinking.
Yeah.
You have to understand that karate, taekwondo, that's a standing game, you know, and it's different than our world. Our world is we want you on the ground, and you know, we want to suck you
And
into our world."
discipline is exercise is good for everyone. I don't think there's a bad martial arts. That's just my opinion, you know. And I remember something coach says one day. He says like the kids they don't do martial arts. They're so annoying, you know, and they're so like undisciplined, you know. Like I know because Gabriel has friends that don't do jiu-jitsu, you know, and he doesn't like them as much just because they are over the place, you know, compared to the kids that go to the gym. You know, they're so much more respectful, you know, and so much more well behaved just because of the martial arts brings that to you. I think any martial arts, not just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm in that place where, like you just said, well, he's closer to the friends that do jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
At my age, all my closest friends do jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
The people that I see the most, you guys, you know, other people in that world, in our world, it's almost like when I'm not with people that I could talk to jiu-jitsu about, I'm like,
I have nothing to say.
Not much to talk about.
yeah, right? It's like, you know, but other than you, Bo, you have some great conversations.
Here we go. Until
So
now.
well played.
Here we go.
So well played.
and it's important to realize too that when you're especially when you're raising your kids, and I don't have an experience with that, thankfully. No, not putting anyone down. But I'm just a different kind of person.
Good for him, I guess.
The kids need an environment where they can grow with certain level of boundaries, and when they don't have that kind of outlet, you know, and it doesn't even have to be any kind of martial art. It could be any sport, but usually martial arts tend to give them a more strict or more guided process of letting go of that venting and that energy and that extra power and everything. So, you know, it really doesn't matter. 10th Planet, Gracie, Taekwondo, football, whatever it is, as long as there is a path to grow and to let that energy out and grow that discipline, I think that's very important.
So let's read what Bryce said. Again, he asked the question, and I think a few minutes later he actually answered it. He said, "My answer is both. I feel Gracie Jiu Jitsu is more complete, tried and true, better for self-defense. Okay. 10th Planet is experimental and evolving still. That being said, I think that gives it an advantage in competitions because it's new and not everybody's familiar with its trickery." I like that last word.
That's a very good answer.
I think that was a great
But what about
answer.
the
Yeah.
rules then? The rules might vary.
As far as what do you mean? In how they
I think what he meant in
they
terms
practice
of evolving is that there are like he thinks that 10th Planet is developing more, you know, different types of movements, different types of submissions, things like that, you know, as long as they're allowed within the rules of competition, then it's all bad.
I definitely agree, though. I think that, again, you know, the Gracies have obviously brought jiu-jitsu to the masses. But I do like, you know, if you get an opportunity to watch some of the Eddie Bravo or like earlier interviews, like, you know, more towards the beginning of like even the UFC in the 90s, he gives some really great explanations of why he's doing what he's doing or why he did what he did. And it's even naming all the individual, not the submissions, but the moves. There's a name for each individual position as I understand it. And he did that so that he said when he was talking to fighters that were traveling abroad and fighting, that he could describe the entire move with the names of those little position moves. So like one position, you know, mission control is a certain position, and then again I don't really know them that well, but you know he's able to talk to somebody by phone and they can follow him exactly what he's trying to convey, the message he's trying to convey with just the names of those individual moves. So again, you know, there's a method to the madness. I always like that saying.
That is trickery, especially if you're competing.
Yeah.
Hey, do X, Y, and Z, and then they do it. And nobody else
and he does, and he does do that in competitions. If you ever watch him coaching, he's yelling out these names. And if you're not a 10th Planet guy or understand it or know somebody,
no idea what they're saying.
You have no clue what they're saying. Right. How many people have ever gotten you into mission control? Do you know that first
only
leg over the
Kennedy's
shoulder?
Race Center.
Yeah.
That's all.
You know, I've very you've been doing that. You grab the leg a little bit. Yeah. Did you know it was mission control?
No.
Is that like a?
I believe it's mission.
It's kind of like a rubber guard type of situation.
Yeah.
You know, it's where they basically when they have you in full guard, or you have them in full guard. Excuse me, you're at the bottom, and you grab your own ankle and you bring them around your head and on their neck, and then you go here, and then there's all kinds of different.
You eventually you're grabbing your own leg
position.
and bringing it, and ultimately the goal is to get it in front under his neck.
Yeah, you have to be very flexible. I mean, your hips and your knees have to be very flexible for that. So you know, it's not for everybody, but it's not for us old folks.
I feel like
although I've seen older men do that too.
So we're going to get a lot of comments and emails from people that
they know about this.
We are very sorry if we're just butchering this.
Yes.
But you know, hey, listen, send us your questions or maybe some
criticisms.
Your criticisms or explanations.
Yeah.
I'm always learning.
Yeah.
I'm always learning.
Be gentle.
Everything we said though, respect to 10th Planet,
Everybody, exactly.
And of course to the Gracie.
Don't send us any of your killers, please.
No.
I think this is a great one. This is from Brian on Instagram. I am not even going to try to butcher. You want to try that? But he's a Fa Morgan. I don't Bod Hiza Fa Morgan. His name is Brian. It really is on Instagram. It's how to deal with competition anxiety.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Anyone?
So,
Janet?
Come on, Janet.
We've had some conversations.
I never
about
competed,
this.
so I can.
No.
I've competed a few times, and I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you are, I can't even say that. I was going to say, if you're to the point where you're almost in tears, I don't want to do it, then don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody should be making you do anything.
Right.
But if you're wanting to do it to push yourself past your comfort limits, then do it. And if you kind of shed a little tear and power through, then God knows I've done that one too. But the more times you compete, not to say that that anxiety goes away because you're about to compete. How would it ever go away? Nobody's that comfortable in their game, you know. But it does get a little bit more familiar. You know those mats that you're going to walk on. You remember the smell. You remember the sound. Again, you walk in and you start seeing more familiar faces. It's a little bit more comforting. It's not quite as, you know, walking into you're not walking into that brand new place. It might be a different venue, but so the lighting might be a little different. It's still the same setup. You know, for the most part, it's always the same refs. So you start to, you know, familiarize yourself with that, and then it's a mental game. You have to control yourself, and if you can't pull yourself in, then do you have to compete?
So that leads me to a question that I wanted to ask you, since you're kind of surrounded by them, or anybody at the table who knows. I've heard rumors of schools that pretty much you're not going to get promoted unless you're successful in tournaments, or at least you compete in tournaments.
But then maybe that's not the school.
And
for
maybe
you.
that isn't
Then
the
that's a
school for you.
tournament school, and if that's part of their, you know,
Culture.
their culture and how they promote,
Or
then
are you
that's
going to
fine.
stay? Let's, for example, you're not going to get your next belt until you've competed once or twice.
Right.
Okay.
Win or
or
lose.
are you going to? You will eventually get your belt, but it's going to take you a good 3 years.
Right.
I mean.
Yeah.
But it's you know, again, it's a question of the environment and the culture you want to be in.
Then again, the question is, you have to compete in order to get your belt. You don't have to win. In other words, what they're trying to do to pretend like I'm trying to understand their situation is they want to help you by pushing you to go beyond your limits. So if they feel that at a certain point you need to compete in order to go to your next level, to your next belt, to your next promotion, they want to encourage you to do that. I personally don't necessarily agree with that kind of philosophy, but again, every gym is different, and some people are driven by that need to compete and by need to be pushing themselves to that point. And competition is a very strong way of doing that. Mm-hmm. So it depends on the gym, and like you guys said, if you're not comfortable with that, then maybe that's not the place for you. But it's definitely not a wrong thing. It's just may not be right for you.
Yeah,
I've done a few competitions. I think I did one at white belt, 2 at blue, and 1 at purple. My anxiety got worse. It didn't get better.
Yeah.
I was actually the loosest and the most comfortable when I did the very first.
Because you didn't know what to
I
expect.
wrestled a little in junior high, so I got that getting on the mat, and it's not a team sport at that point. Mm-hmm. So I definitely I remember that, and I remember that anxiety. But as an adult, I went out there. I had just turned 41. And I was the most comfortable that first one. I did really well. I did gold in both gi and no gi. Everyone was younger though. Mm-hmm. Everyone was a lot younger. They had to mix us together because I was the only person my age, my weight. They mixed me with these younger guys, and I felt really confident about it. The next tournament, the same thing. Now I'm at blue belt. Competition's a little bit, harder. In gi, I went up against a guy that looked older than me, was 40. His coaches didn't believe that what my age was, but I beat somebody that was over 40. They were calling my name on the no gi mat at the same time that I was I was at the gi mat, because it was really 2 different age groups, so they were going on at the same time. Went over, tried to take as much time as I could, and totally got demolished by just this young kid that looked like a freaking linebacker. Same thing happened the last time I competed. I was like, there's nobody my age in with the younger guys, and it's difficult. I'm in my 40s. These guys, one guy was 26 and one guy I think was like 34. Yeah. So my day, I'm retired now. I'm retired from competing. Maybe I do it again one day if I was guaranteed, to fight somebody my same age, weight, and rank. I would like to do that. I would compete if I could do that.
What happened to the one at every belt?
Yes, I was going to say that. Took the words out of my mouth.
Well, I did one at purple. Yes. I did one at purple.
He did.
And I did just say that I would like to, if I could, be up. No challenges, please. Don't start sending me challenges. But I would like to, to do it again. I do like it. It was fun. But my anxiety did it. I think once I knew what to expect, it actually made it worse.
Yeah.
Because the waiting, the delays, the not knowing who you were going to fight, like that got worse for me. And not that I couldn't get out there, but it was just like.
Perhaps it was the venue.
I mean, it was local. I don't want to mention the system. It wasn't IBJJF. It was one of the smaller organizations, maybe not as as smooth and organized. But again, once I knew what to expect, it did get worse for me. So, I just love to train. I love the open mats on the weekend. I mean, it's as close as I'm getting right now. But would I do it again? Maybe. But as far as the anxiety, I think that everybody's so different. But I think once you get out on the mat, it's all gone. You forget everything. You forget, or at least the anxiety,
as
right?
Soon
the anxiety.
As that ref says.
Yeah.
You're like,
I thought he mistrained this. He mistrained today, and I was like, and he's asking me like, I was like, oh, to train today was amazing. I was like, why? It's because you're not there to beat me up, So
There's
We
quite
need
a
to
few
talk
people
off
there
camera. We
today.
need to talk when we're not recording, man. You're really angry with me, huh?
No.
We did miss you today. Even I showed up thinking you might
Yeah.
be there.
I needed to. We needed to prepare. I
You
needed
were
to prepare
scared.
Because he
for
goes
today, so.
he goes religiously
Right,
every Saturday, every Sunday.
I've
And
heard
then I
that.
realized like, oh, he's getting ready for the podcast, So
Yeah, so yeah, I needed to do a lot of things to get ready for today, and but tomorrow I'm rested.
You're ready to go.
Bright and early.
Yeah.
I'll be up bright and early.
So I think one more point to make regarding the competition, and I think the question was, how do we feel?
How to deal with competition anxiety?
So with competition anxiety, like Janet said and other people mentioned, I think a lot of it is mental. It's a question of getting your mind set to deal with the entire day, because like you guys mentioned, it's not just the moment and the 5 or 6 minutes that you're at the mat competing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the entire day and the whole experience. You having to make sure that you're eating well, that you're maintaining weight if you had to do weight, that you what's it called, that you're hydrating yourself properly, because you're looking at other fights, you're looking at other people, you're stressed out, you forget to drink, you forget to eat, and then you start getting weaker. The competitions get delayed because of XYZ. So it's there's a lot of different things that are happening. So it's not just about the fight. It's about everything that goes around.
What do you think about that? About the way we Jason, Sophia, we were all in that Miami, that Miami event more than a year ago now. And one of our teammates had really sucked weight, and she wasn't able to eat. I was like, what is your feeling about cutting weight at the amateur level like this for tournament jiu-jitsu?
I think it depends on how much weight. If you're talking a couple pounds, hey.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's what I'm saying. But like
water weight.
sucking weight. I mean, people trying to make weight, but like sucking weight to fight.
I don't have.
That's a big issue, like in the UFC right now.
I don't have a lot of experience with it, doing it in jiu-jitsu, but I remember, and I know this is a little different, I remember doing that in high school wrestling.
Yeah.
In high school wrestling, I remember fighting at around 135, 140, and every once in a while, my coach, and I'm not going to mention anything about this, but I remember my coach telling me that I had to go down to 125. So it was usually, and this was not a week or two before. This was usually
and you didn't
2
have a
or 3
choice.
days.
He's like,
I didn't really have a choice because if I wanted to stay in varsity, so I could get my letters for my jacket and all that. What it is in high school. Although that's 20 years ago, so I don't know how it is now. You had to do it. You had to do it. So in a matter of 24, 36 hours, I had to lose 15 pounds.
Wow.
And you did it the only way possible, which is you lose water. You just go and run, and you have your two, your garbage bags, and you ride in your bike.
Shave
or whatever.
your head.
Yeah, do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And I remember the few times I had to do that. I would fight. Thankfully,
what do you think at the tournaments? Do you think that people should be doing it? If somebody asks you, I want to go down, I want to be strong. I don't think that you're stronger. You've just weakened yourself.
Yeah.
You're not stronger.
I think if you do it in a healthy way, say the competition's 3 months out and you start now, and you do it in a healthy way, knock yourself out. The yo-yo back and forth, after the competition, then you're back to just eating the way that you did, and you gain it all back. Next competition comes up, and then you're going to drop it again.
No consistency.
I think that yo-yo is
that's very dangerous.
It's not good for your body. It's not good for your internal organs.
But I don't like that sucking weight the last couple of days. I think, like you said, if you're doing it over time,
but then you feel
change the way you eat. Well, if you do it the last minute, you're definitely going to feel like shit.
I also think that if you are a true competitor who's constantly wanting to compete, you're not yo-yoing. Might be off a few pounds here and there because that's life. Birthdays, holidays, whatever. But for the most part, you're going to stay pretty consistent with your weight. So if you do need to drop, it's not a big deal.
Right.
And no disrespect to the teammate that I'm referencing, I just remember feeling so bad for her.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
Yeah, because there was no food, no water for 2 days, and how in the world is that good? And then you're not competing to your level, because you are already exhausted. You've almost been beat before you even stepped out on the mat.
Yeah, I'd rather go with somebody heavy. I mean, ultimately, that's the thing: is to be. You want to feel, or at least the thinking is, you want to be
You want to
you're
be the
more
biggest.
powerful at a smaller weight.
Yeah, you want to
But
be the
you've just
strongest or
taken
the
it away
biggest.
from
at a-
yourself
yeah.
by sucking out the energy level.
Right.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't know. I guess it's. I mean, the UFC's been getting a really good handle on it by like weighing them the whole week now, or a good portion of the week.
Yeah.
So like they're really kind of stopping them from and being monitored by doctors at the last minute.
But
Right.
you're only hurting yourself.
No,
I mean, if that's the way that they want to roll, then
Yeah.
That's a different. Yeah, it's.
Well, the
you know,
UFC is even considering adding additional divisions so that people can stay in their walking weight, so to speak, more and actually have a weight class to compete in.
And I feel like those are like the more exciting fights. Like I want to see the guy fight at his walking around weight.
Yeah.
I want to see
but
the
then
guy
are they
drop.
dropping weight because they want to be the heaviest in that division for that advantage, or are they dropping because maybe there is a specific person in that lower?
Both. I think
Do they want to?
Probably.
It could be one or the
Yeah.
other, and it's also the traditional thinking is that you're going to be this stronger. You can gain some of the weight back after you weigh in, but that you're going to be stronger because you normally walk around with more weight.
With all this.
You are
Yeah.
stronger. You've sucked weight and gone down to this smaller division where you're probably going to be able to manhandle. Again, that's the thinking or the methodology behind it. And then sometimes it's just like I want a piece of that guy at that weight.
Yeah.
I think that works. I think that it would work if you did it the healthy, longer route. If you lose the weight, you cut the weight, but you're also conditioning yourself. You're gaining that muscle. Yeah, you could go in there the heavy person and feeling extremely strong because you did it the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
But most of the times when you're talking about cutting weight, most of the times they're referring to a very short period of time and mostly losing water, and that's usually not a very healthy situation.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of it. I think when I see it, and again, the UFC's been catching it a lot, and I am a fan, and when I see them like it can't be healthy, can't be good, and then the whole hydrating and being 10 or 15 pounds heavier than the guy that you're fighting, then I think that there's also that disadvantage there. So you've weakened yourself, but then if you've hydrated back up, now you're heavier.
You're carrying all of this.
What if the guy that's naturally there, and then now you've carried the extra, or you hydrate, 5 or 10 pounds back on. I think that's almost unfair. But listen, the fight can go either way.
Right.
It's only a man or a woman, right? They're only human. But so
unless they start doing weigh-ins like for jiu-jitsu is like right before.
Yeah.
You weigh in and then you walk to your mat, and there's no night before where you can go then and eat or.
Well, even IBJJF has changed it day of, right?
They're right.
I mean,
before.
or it's always been day of.
That's right. It's right then.
Yeah.
There's other venues that you could go the night before.
I've done the one where I went the night before.
You can go
so
the
I
night
have to
before,
work.
you weigh in, then you go eat yourself a big old pasta meal and carve up. But then like IBJJF is you go weigh in, and I mean unless you can slam some kind of a power bar, of some sort, but you are in the bullpen and you're waiting for them to come.
I know. Again, for me, even when my very first one, I did try to lose some weight. I did not try to suck weight, but I was trying to lose weight. And then what happened? It didn't matter because they just put a whole bunch of guys together in one division, so my weight didn't even matter.
Wow.
So I was kind of glad I didn't skip all the
in smaller venues and smaller competitions, that's usually what happens. Is that you at the end of the day, everything goes to hell, and you're meshed with different people, different weights, and things like that. So all of your effort and all that kind of goes for nothing. So
So guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you again for everybody participating. That was over an hour. That was we were at about an hour and 15 minutes, or almost an hour and 20 minutes.
Nice.
So thank you all.
Fun.
Andres, Janet,
Thank you.
Raul, Mauricio.
Thank you.
Those are their names because we keep on forgetting to give our names. We'll get better at that, guys. So anybody you want to give your handle, Instagram?
Janet_JJ Dummies. You all right over there?
Yeah, sorry. You want to give it again?
Janet_JJ Dummies.
Mauricio is still setting his up. Raul?
Raul Benton. That's it right there.
Spell the last name?
BENTON.
Ton.
Yeah.
And I got nothing. I'm not already. So.
He's a ghost. His name is not really Andres. Yeah.
He's against technology. Lives in a shed.
For me, you can get. I run the Jiu Jitsu Dummies everything. The all of the social media right now. So it's at Jiu Jitsu Dummies. Spelled IES. So at Jiu Jitsu Dummies on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. My personal is at Uncle Milty BJJ. I'll tell you guys a story about that one day. And big shout out to our sponsors again, Choke Responsibly. Thank you for all the shirts. They do all of our podcast gear. Woohoo! They do our mugs, our shirts, women's tank tops, sweaters are going to be posted pretty soon. Hoodies, zip up and pullovers. For those of you that submitted questions that we used today, everybody's going to get a podcast t-shirt and a mug. You're actually going to get a coupon code to go on and order yourself. It's free shipping in the U.S. If you want to add anything to the order, it's still free shipping. You can also get a 10% discount on top of that by using the coupon code DummiesPod2. And again, it's always free shipping in the U.S. Internationally. If you want something and you get a message and you want to order, you do have to pay the shipping. Also, our first two questions. So Chuck and Darren are both going to get a bottle of CBD from Fight Back CBD, or you can get them at Fight Back CBD on Instagram and Facebook, and go to fightbackcbd.com if you want to place an order. Just use the coupon code JJD and you'll get 15% off. Really cool. They originally told us 10%. They jacked it up to 15%, which I think is awesome of them. They give back to the community, to the BJJ community, and they help people with substance abuse issues who are in recovery get into BJJ classes. They give them gis. They help them pay for school. So really awesome. I'd love to be doing more with them. Hopefully they like what we're doing and they come aboard in a bigger way. I'd like to definitely give away more CBD if they allow us. As always, support your BJJ businesses. We're so specific and unique. We need you to follow us, to buy our products, to give us listens, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe. YouTube is subscribing for free. You don't have to pay anything. So, definitely hit that subscribe button. We'll put the coupon codes and the links to the businesses in the description below. Right. Again, support. When you send your questions, don't forget to put your full name, your rank, and if you want to give your gym a shout out, we will shout them out. City, location, whatever info you want to give, we'll share as well. So I want to thank everybody again for participating. Thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. Love talking jiu-jitsu with you guys. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo. All right, guys. Yeah, wow, that went faster than the first time, right? That felt like
that felt faster.
That was I started right when we started, so it was an hour and 22. I think that's kind of good.